Alright. Hello everybody and welcome back to iCast, your freaking awesome replays. We've got another submission from the New Year's resolution, ICYFAR. And this one's from Mech It Cry. I need to take care of my health this year. I'm going to build more Medivacs. For those who are wondering, what the heck does that mean? Well, the whole challenge here is we got people on the ladder. Just go out there, announce a New Year's resolution to your opponent, and then try to follow through on that in the game. So this player says, I'm going to try and build more Medivacs. Now, that, honestly, has got to be one of the low-key, least interesting challenges for a Terran player I've ever heard. Until I realize, wait a second, your name's Mech It Cry. If you're building a lot of Medivacs with Mech, that's where things get interesting. So, fingers crossed, that's where... Otherwise, it's like, oh, I made Marines and Medivacs. Could you guys believe this revolutionary new composition? Like, you get the unit that heals the really good tier 1 guy with a gun. And sometimes you like use it to pick them up and drop them inside the enemy's base. It's like almost like a surprise tactic. It's like this new revolutionary thing that Boxer didn't figure out in Brood War with dropships in 1999. Definitely not. Anyways, guys, it's going to be a TVZ versus no cap legendary in the bottom left. Zerg player down there. And this is going to be really cool. Especially if we see HELLBAT drops is really cool. Widowmine drops are actually the sickest. Oh my god. So obviously Medivacs can heal HELLBATs because when they're in HELLBAT form, they become biological. I don't know why they can get healed then and they can't get healed when they're in their broom, drivey, burn form. But for whatever reason, they can't, and then they can when they do it the other way. Widowmine drops are great though. I think it was Ryung. It was one of the last times I saw a player, it looked like they were pretty screwed against a player who had Broodlords out. And they basically just loaded up like 5 Medivacs with Widowmines. And they just boosted them over, unloaded like 20 Widowmines, and blew up an entire like maxed out Broodlord army. Obviously, a lot of the Widowmines died. But you got Drilling Claws. If you're good enough at quickly tabbing and burrowing those with them all in a control group, or boxing, tabbing, burrowing, whatever sick pro gamer micro you're doing to burrow those in the middle of the fight. Basically, you get like even 5 or 6 Widowmines off on a clumped up Zerg army. It is brutal. So, super cool if we see some Widowmine drippy droppies as well. Now, no cap legendary appears to be doing a pretty standard build order. It's just like a hatchery first, get some queens. Did build a 3rd Overlord very early, right? So maybe accidentally built an Overlord at a time because I'm like, how do you have so much vision this early? But other than that, looks tight. Ling speed's on the way. Terran player building a few Marines here is Mech It Cry, and he's got the factory and the second gas. Mech It Cry, make it happen, Mech It Cry. Make Mech great again, is what some people have been calling for. I think Mech never died. I think Mech's a fantastic composition. But I do think you might struggle because Mech It Cry did not scout, and the opponent is going Ling Speed and a Baneling Nest. 20 drone Ling Bane bust incoming. No scouting attempt at all from Legendary, by the way. No attempt to scout or look around. It's just like, that's just what I do versus Terran. I just make Ling Speed, make a lot of Zerg, and then I just try to blow it up. Like, you could be on one base with a tank on the high ground. I'm not going to know until my Banelings try to run up the ramp. There is a bunker coming in. That might save Mech It Cry's bacon here. It's going to be really, really tough. Before the action starts, guys, because we've got a bit till Ling Speed, I do want to say, if you want to get your challenges in to be in the next month's ICYFAR, iCast Your Freaking Awesome Replays, info's in the description. It's a harassment challenge. Harass as much as possible. Be creative with it. Send us in your best replays. And remember, as always, there's no such thing as being too low league. We cast a lot of bronze and silver players in these shows, mixed in with masters, GMs, diamonds, and all the rest. Speaking of which, guys, here we go. Baneling bust incoming. There are 4 Hellions out. That Baneling Ling count is going to be scary. Okay, good volley on the Hellions. Nothing massive yet. The Banelings, ow! Big Baneling hits the Hellions. Another one does hit one of them. But good micro now from Mech It Cry. Ooh, and takes all the Banelings out. Nice micro. Mech It Cry should hold on here. Does lose another Hellion. A little bit dicey. The Hellions are going to micro around. Should probably repair those up. Does have more Hellions on the way. A Medivac is now out and an armory finishes. HELLBAT's great for cleaning up Zerglings, but otherwise not as effective. Legendary going to continue to trickle in here with a handful of Zerglings. A little sloppy. And he's going to back off. 3rd hatchery is on the way. Looks like plan B now underway. No cap Legendary. Didn't kill any workers, so he's going to just drone up behind this. But we've seen, unless you're very crisp at then counterattacking, a lot of Zerg players are able to bounce back. They attack, then they drone, then they throw a big attack, and then they drone. And as long as they're just kind of confidently keeping their macro machine going with like the Queen's lava injecting and that sort of stuff, it's amazing how strong a confident Zerg is that just keeps spending their money and keeps their macro going. So Mech It Cry is going to need to find a way to get across this map and do some counter damage. We have an SCV repairing here. The Hellions are just chilling. Multiple Medivacs out. The bunker's back up as well. And a second factory on the way. Are we going to be seeing Blue Flame? Is that what this is? Okay, yeah, he's already swapping it. We're definitely seeing Mech. This is going to be so bizarre. Hellbats can be dropped on enemy armies to great effect. Obviously, getting dropped in Banelings is not the most amazing. But what you've got to remember is if you're dropping just one Hellbat at a time into Banelings, it's going to be pretty darn efficient. So that could be really cool. Hellion drop will pick up and move out. There are Overlords spying everything right now. Mech really needs a Viking and has started building one there. It's building more depots right now to get out of the supply block. Third command center on the way as well. And the Zerg player legendary, only 6 Zerglings and 2 Queens. No creep spread, no real map vision right now. So, legendary, 2 Evo chambers are there on the way. Uh-oh, Hellions are going to come in on this base. And the drones are starting to transfer out there. This could be really good for Mech. Legendary does not have the vision. Lings run in the front, and the Widow Mine actually fired there. It damaged the SCV, but the Medivac was healing it the whole time. Ahaha, friendly fire, says Legendary. It didn't even kill the SCV though, you dummy. This is why you don't prioritize shit talk over micro and macro, mate. You've got no map vision on your side of the map. You're here taunting your opponent about making a Widow Mine damage an SCV, which was instantly healed up by the Medivac healing. Mate! What are you doing, mate? Well, the Viking will clean some stuff up. The Hellbat's actually trying to kill the hatchery. They're going to kill this drone and roach as they pop out. The lava could die to the splash damage if they get hit by it. Right now, barely out of those flames, even though it looks like they're getting hit by them. They aren't. The roaches come forward, and Mech will have to back off. Now, remember, Hellbat's much bigger than Hellions. You can only fit 2 of these in a Medivac at a time. Mech is going to pick up one, try and get out of there. The other one turns, does burn the roach before getting blasted to pieces. Fair enough. Viking just hanging around this map. And we've got a third orbital on the way. Blue Flame, +1 weapons. So it's 48 SCVs versus 43 drones. Good economic spot to be in for the Terran, as I feel a big roll of thunder outside. You guys probably can't hear it. It's a big storm rolling in over my city as I cast this. I'm like, oh my god. You know, when you feel those deep vibrations, I can feel it through the building. Awesome. Roach speed is on the way. Shame we don't have a Protoss player. Otherwise, I would take that as a portent. I'd be like, there will be great size storms this game. Who knows? Maybe it means there'll be big explosions. We do see some Widow Mines, which could be very effective. And the Roach count, definitely Roaches with 1-1. That's kind of what you want versus Mech, right? Just well-upgraded Roaches. Scary thing is just the economic difference, where the Terran is just ahead right now. Mech taking a 4th base on location and a 5th base on location. Oh my god, batching things up like crazy. It's obviously a high risk, but this is like very low APM. And since most players just struggle with getting their actions done, just having the confidence to just be like, yeah, I'm going to box SCVs, build command center, build gas, build command centers, build gases. Just doing all those orders in one go, one sequence, is actually like so APM efficient that it can be quite worthwhile. The army composition, though, I gotta say, this looks like a bit of a hot mess. A few Hellbats, 2 Widow Mines, a Thor, 2 Hellbats in a Medivac. You drop Hellbats on these Roaches, they'll do just fine, but it's only a few Roaches for now. So I think you're okay for now. You definitely want to get some tanks or something in there to fight the Roach Ravager. And oh my god, Legendary is going to go for mass Ravagers on the front lines. Spending all of that gas. Is up to 3 bases, pretty full of workers right now. And these Ravagers could out-micro this army, but 4 Medivacs, if you put 8 Hellbats in there and drop it on top of the Ravagers, you're going to kill them so fast. Look at this, though, finding the SCVs. Uh-oh, Mech Uh-oh, Mech losing a lot of SCVs. That command center, is it going to finish? It barely finishes. A nice lift from Mech Already had that missile turret queued up, so that does go down. Corrosive Bile's not really going to find the mark. And wait, we're picking up the Thors? A Thor drop? How does that? That doesn't make any sense. Thors outrange all of these units. You just want to fight. I think Mech clicking on the wrong units. Mech like, I want to build more Medivacs. But Mech a Mech player, doesn't even know how. He's dropping Thors on top of the Roaches and Ravagers. Now they're just going to get killed. Oh my god, that made no sense at all. Mech all the Hellbats stuck behind. Imagine if they were all Hellbats dropped on top instead. Oh my god, and the Bile's starting to land. But the tanks do survive that first round of Biles. The Roach Ravager, though, they can go down and kill this other base as well. Oh, this is a disaster. Mech not having any... just not using the army correctly. And the Roach Ravager, a very simple army. It's kind of hard to screw up. The Roach Ravager gets in, but oh, good save. The Medivacs. Hey! Taking... What wasn't it? I want to take care of my health. Well, you just took care of your SCV's health very well. Good on you. Good on you, Mech Cry. Good on you, mate. Hydra Den Infestation Pit, Macro Hatch, 4th base, all coming down for Legendary. As long as Legendary just keeps taking extra bases and maybe builds an extra 20 workers, like, it's basically game over because they can scale. But that's a big if. It's only when you face really high-level players that they do that, oh, okay, I'm ahead, I'm going to make 80 workers and get myself further ahead. Not to mention, hidden base in the side, still no planetaries, even here making an orbital command center. Go for broke, says, hey, I'm just going to rely on you not finding that. I just took a lot of economic damage, so I've got to be careful. It's going to try and float this base back down, but the Roach Ravager is still here, and the 2-2 upgrades are going to kick in right now. Tanks and Hellbats moving forward, command center trying to move down. Widow Mines will get a decent bit of splash damage. The tank's starting to move forward. The Roach Ravager will be able to clean up just 2 or 3 tanks out on their own. Nice Biles landing. The tank's starting to fall. There is still some tanks up on the high ground though, so if you go too close, you will end up in trouble. Oh, the tanks on the high ground, on that right side of our screen. Notice they start to clear these Roach Ravagers out, and that's where Legendary does finally get held off. Still a good trade for Legendary, who of course is looking healthy, has built a few more drones back here, and is adding a Hive and Hydralisk and Lurker tech. But definitely Mech Cry does not take the craziest damage and is dropping so many mules. Has 4 orbitals, is dropping all the mules up there. He's going to re-land this one secretly, trying to re-land this command center. That's not going to go well. Does kill 1 Ravager with that tank on the high ground. Another tank shot from the left side goes off. Gonna have to move on out to secure this base. So we're going to see Mech versus Roach Hydra Lurker. Now, Hydras are the weakest unit in the game against Hellbat drops. If you boost on top, you might lose 1 or 2 full Medivacs. But if you have like 8 Medivacs filled with Hellbats, you will smash it. I'm still waiting for that moment where Mech Cry picks up just pure Hellbats, boosts forward and drops them on top, because they roast, like I said, Hydras and the like very well. The problem is, if Lurkers get out, Lurkers don't care too much about Hellbats getting dropped on top of them. The only way I could see it being effective, because the Hellbat's not going to do the light damage to it. They'll do like, what, 20 damage a shot. It'll take like 10 plus Hellbat shots to kill the Lurker. But maybe if you drop behind the Lurkers will be shooting backwards, and therefore they won't shoot the rest of your army, right? So if you can get Lurkers to shoot in the wrong direction at like a random Hellbat drop behind them, then obviously they're wasting their damage and they're not getting that big line of splash damage on your army as it runs forward. Still, it's going to be hard to pull off, but tanks, a few Cyclones, Magfield's now kicked in. There's some decent vehicle upgrades coming in as well. 3-2 versus the 3-3 of Zerg. I mean, this is kind of cool to see how these final fights are going to go. I don't know if Mech Cry can make this work though. I want to see a really cool Hellbat drop. The Lurker Roach is going to be so tanky versus it. This is a good army composition choice for Legendary. No Spellcasters though. Spellcasters are very advanced mech units, so if Mech Cry can round this out with a whole lot of Thors in their single fire mode as well, so they don't waste time shooting Overseers or too much, then the Thors could be just good to round this out. Tanks behind, Thors in front, add some Hellbat drops on top of it. Could be a nice army. Still got the tanks on the high ground, so even though there's one tank that is sticking out, I don't think this is going to be a good push for Legendary, because look at these extra tanks as he ventures into range. Nice moves, but ooh, Cyclones run into the Lurker fire. You got to be careful there, mate. The Lurkers do not have seismic spines yet, so they're still only 8 range Lurkers. When this upgrade in the top left, this kind of green upgrade finishes, that's when they become 10 range, which is massive. Here it goes! Hellbat drop! Hellbat drop on the Lurkers! And there's not much support there. Most of the Roaches had already died. And that actually works out. No, where's the scan? You've got a scan, buddy! Oh my god, a little bit slow on the scan, but finally does scan there. And does kill most of these Lurkers. That was pretty cool. Mech Cry now in the supply lead after that fight, catching those Lurkers out on their own. The problem is that Legendary has a 5th base up. Legendary on 85 workers. You can see a little oversaturated on the main and the natural, or the natural only, but tons of production, lots of money coming in. And right now it feels like Mech Cry's stabilized, but it's very vulnerable. And ooh, Vipers are coming out. Legendary actually knows how to use Vipers and is even adding Baneling tech just in case for later, because that'll be really good for clearing the Hellbats. This is crazy. Does this Zerg actually know how to do this? What level are we looking at? These players are playing pretty well. Really good APM for both sides. I think this might be like a Diamond game. Diamond 2 maybe. I think this might be like Diamond 2. I think the lack of map vision makes me think it can't be Diamond 1 or Masters, but maybe even there, since they're both so good at macroing. Melee upgrades on the way as well. Adrenal Glands full. Lurkers coming on out. We've got this army pushing forwards across this map, but there is a lot of Lurkers making. And remember, those Vipers, they're all sucking energy off that hatchery. Got to be careful that they don't kill it. This is why you're meant to grab energy off multiple structures, not all off one. Oof. Archery gets very low. Raven on the way for detection, very cute, and a big army coming forward. But wait, picks up a Thor again. You don't want to pick up those Thors, you want to pick up the Hellbats, mate. But mostly it is Hellbats in there. Oh! Oh no! Gets caught by the Lurkers. Great Lurker. Roach flank comes in. Grabs a whole bunch of these tanks on the back, and this might be a bit of a disaster for the Terran player, losing so many tanks before the fight starts. But wait, he just says, screw it. Whatevs, let's go for broke. And he just YOLOs into the main, picks up there. The rest of his army will get cleaned up. On the other side, though, oh, big Zergling run by. Great move there for Mech. Might be able to kill that command center. Meanwhile, in the main base, lots of drones starting to go down. And look at this, a few more tanks rallied in, as well as a Viking. They're going to kill that base. Oh no, he's gonna find another expansion. This is huge. This Ling run by, the fact that Legendary did not F2 all the units home has just killed a base, a ton of workers, and is now gonna kill another base of workers. Is taking so much damage at home to all these Hellbats, losing this hatchery, losing drones, down to just 60 workers and the like. But you know what? I think it's okay. And once again, like I said, the Thors need to be in single fire mode. Not doing as much damage as it could, but all the Vipers do fall there. Not too bad. The army is still rallying across this map. These Thors wasting time in single fire mode. Unfortunately, the Medivac going to try and boost out the army coming home. That command center does lift. It looks like both command centers survived, but losing so many workers. That being said, I mean, we just killed an Evo chamber here in the main as well. Hydra Den, spawning pool, all starting to burn down. Somehow there's still a Viking here. There's nothing that shoots up, so that's doing really well. Baneling Morph tries to come in. It gets caught. Legendary. Exploding into run-bys all over the place, but they get cleaned up. Mech still has a lot of orbitals, can still drop a lot of mules, and should be able to remax one time, whereas Legendary, lots of minerals, not that much gas, and is losing some tech structures. If that Hydra Den gets shot one more time, oh, it goes down. Should be able to save the spawning pool, though. Man, this game got exciting. I'm really impressed, guys. This is really cool. Now, there's a lot of Medivacs, but those need to get repaired. Those absolutely need to get repaired. And look at that. Okay, he's done it. He said repair the Medivacs. I don't know if he's queued up on all of the Medivacs, though. I feel like maybe. Okay. Interesting. All right, so he's starting to heal up all these Medivacs. Already has a few Hellbats inside. He's going to need to do that again. I think the Hellbat drop is surprisingly powerful, and it gives you this simplicity to your army. You just kind of drop on their face and A-move the rest of your army. It's super cool. Not super cool, though, is what's about to happen to this orbital command center. One shot, two shot. Oh, and the Hydras will be able to finish it off there. Mech economy definitely reeling. Needs to take a good fight in the next engagement. Another Ling run by trying to come in here on this right side. I think the army's actually better for the Terran right now, especially with these tanks coming in. But watch out. Here come the Vipers. And it's going to abduct in one of those siege tanks on the right side. Command center is going to try to land, but look, the Zerglings are denying it. Some derpy abducts do come in. We'll eventually clear those two tanks out, though. Here we go. Mech going for it. The Raven's coming in. Why are we dropping Thors? Why are we dropping Thors and not Hellbats? It makes no sense. And they're shooting Vipers instead of the Lurkers. And they're still in splash damage mode. This is a clinic on a really good macro for Mech, but clearly not how you're meant to use this comp. This comp's actually not bad. It's actually not a bad comp. This is not how you use it. Oh my god, I love it. I love it because the game's still so entertaining, and somehow Mech is still up in supply, but I think that's just because the Zerg can't make up their mind on what to remax. I mean, they've got tons of money. Taking a 6th base, their work account's good. Oh, their Hydra Den. They didn't realize the Hydra Den died. They've been trying to build Hydras this whole time. That's what happened. Mech corner base is definitely the lifeline keeping him in this game right now. It's going to maybe float out another command center, but I think that one died. How many command centers have we lost? Oh, 2 orbitals. That's rough. It's very, very rough. Mech has got a good tank count, a good Hellbat count, but there's just no reason. If you're going to drop a Thor, it should be dropping one Thor behind the Lurkers. So if the Lurkers are here and you're attacking from here, you want to drop the Thor behind it so they all shoot in the wrong direction. Otherwise, just drop Hellbats on their face. But the Thors should just be kind of attacking on the ground themselves. So Mech please load up all your Hellbats. That's how you do this. That's how you do this. Load up the Hellbats. Give me one last Doom drop, buddy. Come on. A Ling Bane run by getting ready. I don't think that's going to do anything. That's going to... Well, actually, if the Banelings hit the Hellbats, they might get a decent trade. Check this out. Oh! But, yeah, they kill some Hellbats, but overall, not the best trade for the Zerg player. Might be okay, though, because you lower the Hellbat count, and that lowers the potential utility of those Medivacs. At the moment, it's just being used as a meat shield, the Hellbat Medivac, and this doesn't really work against Lurkers, because if you have a stack of Lurkers, they're going to do so much splash damage, there's no chance to heal anything. If you have like 8 Lurkers shoot a Hellbat, it just dies. And that's what's going to happen, especially Ultra Transition coming out is very cool. Very, very cool. SCV's revealing that left side base. Oh no! This base did so much for you. This is why you never transfer workers to corner bases, guys. It's because they might see it, and then your one most important base that was keeping you in this revealed. A huge mistake. Legendary was not heading here. Legendary was heading to that expansion, but now Legendary gets a huge pick off, annihilates that base, forces it to lift, and this makes Mech Cry a bit more all in here. He's going to try and siege up out of range. It looks like the Thors have been picked up once more. We're once again going to drop these big old bloody Mandingo Thors on the face of these units. This is just absolutely ridiculous. This is insane. The Thors dropping and actually scares the army back. Raise the wall, raise the wall. That's a lot of Zerglings. Watch out, mate. You don't have any Hellions there. Uh-oh. Ah! Tanks should be able to defend themselves, though, I think. But that third base definitely going to take some damage as the Zerglings go in. Oh, no! Distracted at home. Mech Cry. No! Sieges under Blinding Cloud. Ultra Lurker picks up and drops on top of the Lurkers again. Keeps Thor dropping. And they keep shooting the Vipers because they're still in splash damage mode. This is such a travesty. This could have been such a beautiful engagement. But Mech Cry. My God. The Thors need to be in single fire mode. They need to be A moved, and then they would kill those Vipers so much quicker. And the Hellbats could drop on top, but a disastrous engage. The Ling run bys for Legendary, honestly, have been what's won Legendary this game. Legendary's got this one in the bag now, and it's all off the back of defending crazy attacks while doing Ling backstabs. Just hats off to Legendary. This is like really solid StarCraft play, and always remembering to do multiple things at once, not just tunnel vision on one thing. Blinding Cloud could be massive there. Goes for the abducts. That'll work too. And even a Blinding Cloud to finish it off. Oh, great play. Sergeant Chadhammer on the high ground, by the way, has 50 kills. That's right. You guys can see Sergeant Chadhammer up there on the side of the screen. This is sick. And you know what's really cool, guys? This one was submitted by Mech Cry. It looks like it's going to be a loss. I love it when people submit losses. You play a fun game. It doesn't matter if it's a win or a loss. Send it in. Send it in, guys. It's so much fun to look at these sorts of games as well. And I hope this one has enticed a lot of you to send your replays in for the Harassment Challenge. As honestly, it just shows that you can do some crazy stuff. You can totally mess it up and it can still be a very, very fun game. I think to summarize this one, what I would have loved to see more of is HELLBAT's always preloaded in the Medivacs. And real simple, A-move your ground army. And as it clashes with the Zerg, all you micro is you boost the Medivacs in, unload them on their face with the HELLBATs. But let your Thors fight on the ground. The other thing is, of course, high impact payload. You've got to always swap the Thors to high impact payload. The only reason you might not is if your opponent's heavy on muters, you want to keep that splash damage mode. But there's no other real reason you'd want the splash damage mode out because it just does so much less damage, especially to armored units. One last desperate push to the left side does get caught. Mech Cry going to throw in the towel. GG, well played. And that's some Chad Gaming shit right there. Love to see it. GG from Legendary. Well done, fam.